Now we're going to have the UnFuckIt discussion. So you guys, throw your cameras on if you want. I'm going to pull it over to speaker view. Hi, darlings. How you doing? Hi, Clive. Okay, so it's all fucking crazy. It's all fucking insane. And we've had, before we even went live, we've been sitting and talking on the show about, I gotta open the chat again. I've just realized the chat's not open. What everybody is seeing in their local places. Are your stores running out of food? Can you get food? Can you not get food? How are the people reacting versus how the public is reacting? So I want to talk about this because it's really, really important. When this is it, Leonida just said, things like elective surgeries have been postponed. I think that everyone, if we were to actually find out every state and every province, and probably a good portion of European countries, you're going to find all the elective surgeries will have been postponed. That's pretty major. The one that got me, though, was like they're like canceling weddings and funerals. I'm like, wait, isn't it a pandemic? Doesn't it kind of not make sense to be canceling funerals if it's really a pandemic? And can you imagine the poor people who've been planning a wedding for like 2 years, only to be told, oh, sorry, it's a pandemic, we're just canceling your wedding. Sorry. Yeah, it would suck. The marinas are closed, Lori. Marinas in Michigan are closed. Why would marina? Just to stop people from gathering? I mean, stop people from going on boats? Like, I mean, you don't think of marinas as being like really crowded places. You think of it as people getting on a boat and go sailing or something.
I think that's probably the reason, Danny, why a lot of these things that don't make sense are closing down. It's that human proximity thing that they're using as the excuse.
Well, my question about Michigan and marinas is are they thinking that like all those guys from Michigan are going to jump over to Canada and like are they is that like could you close the marinas because the borders are closed? Because I have good friends who are on the other side of Lake Erie. It used to be a joke. It'd be like, hey, dude, bring your boat up, because he was in the U.S. and we'd just drive down to the beach and be like, hey, why don't you bring your boat up and take us for a ride? And it was 45 minutes for him to grab his boat and just go from the States and come up to Canada. So is that why they're closed? Because the borders are closed and that's the only way they can control the borders on the Great Lakes?
That could be on that particular case. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think one thing that is very, that we really need to stay on top of is the isolation.
Yeah.
Why is the need for this extreme isolation?
But it's not isolation. I mean, it is isolation, but it's only isolation. Yeah, Bossy, go ahead.
Sorry, Penny, but take all this with a grain of salt, because a lot of what I observed in the last 3 weeks was absolutely clown world style. This word is fucked,
it was
by
what
the way,
style, love? Say again?
Clown world style.
Got it.
Fucked in the head people, like denying shit one day, sitting there with a straight face in the television the next day and telling you as if nothing had happened. Apparently this is true, and
we're going to totally change our mind.
Don't listen. Yeah, but see, the problem is we really fucking don't know what is going on. No. This could be the fucking New World Order going out in a blaze. We could be next month in the New World Order. They are telling us we are only allowed on the street if we have a vaccination, a chip in our body, because this way they can track us. We can leave the phone at home. We could infect people, or we can, so they can track the chains, right? So probably also a social credit score. Who do you know? What you do? What
they already have social credit score, dude.
No, but really rolled out, like really in the open. Like you don't leave your house if you're not chipped, if you don't are vaccinated, shit. Because if anything of what is going on out there is true, if this virus is really real and a bioweapon, this shit is like our greatest nightmare. But on the other hand, I don't care so much about this shit if we can isolate ourselves and not get infected. But I care about right now is the New World Order style that we see everywhere. Military is mobilized here and there. They don't talk about it, but it happens, right? The streets are empty in some countries of Europe that were full of life a few months ago. So there is something going on. If it's the virus, I don't know. If it's really that scary that they want us to isolate, then it's really scary. From what some people say is you can get infected right away. So you have a chance of 5%, let's say, tops, if that thing is really so worse. But if you can get reinfected right away, see, it's like...
But here's the thing, though, Bossy. What I am seeing, and I talk about this all the time, and it's been really, really bad, especially for the last year and a half or so. The alt media continuously takes any event that happens, regardless of what it is, and they turn it into a Nightmare on Elm Street. There is never a positive. It is always a negative. And we have been fed this. We have been fed this over and over. And a lot of us have been through that process where we all went through that process where you go through that thing where you go, okay, here's the mainstream media. The mainstream media is lying to us. We figured it out. We know the mainstream media is lying to us. Here's the alternative media. Well, if these guys are lying to us, then these guys must be telling the truth. And you take everything they say and you go and you swallow it whole. But what's one thing we've discovered over the last few years?
Everyone is lying.
A lot of the fucking alt media are lying through their fucking teeth. And a lot of them are paid ops. We know this. And even if they're not paid ops, it is this insidious mind virus. I want to thank you, Maury. You brought that up on Saturday, that word. And that word, I think, is one of the most important words that we can have in our vocabulary right now. It is this insidious mind virus that we have been programmed into. And I found myself, all the time, I keep finding myself, and I've talked about this for the last couple of years. Words come out of your mouth, talking about a various situation, talking about a subject, etc. And these words come out of your mouth, and then all of a sudden you actually listen to what you're saying and go, wait a second. Do you actually know that? Or have you just been told that? And you've been told it so many times, now you believe it. And you swallow it whole as a fact, when in actual fact, it's not a fact. It's just something that somebody has, a narrative that's been created that has just been pushed out so often that it becomes, in the mind's eye of the public, it becomes fact. And the alt media does this so well that we don't question. And that is one of my biggest problems that I've had, in especially this last year and a half, over and over and over again. There are these pieces that everyone keeps talking about. And they repeat them as rote. They repeat them as fact. This is what it is. This is how it is. This is what it's going to do. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Over and over again. Now I want to point out this. The whole 5G shit. Coronavirus 5G shit. When they're all like, Wuhan in China has got 5G and now they have the Wuhan virus and everyone's dropping dead. Oh my God, 5G is coming to kill us because it's going to activate something in the virus and we're all going to die. In January, there was a whole lot of us going, dudes, seriously? But in a month and a half, it's now become a belief structure. It's now become a piece of programming that literally everyone is mouthing these words, and it's like, oh, well, I put up a post about coronavirus and certain symptoms, etc., and we're like, oh, it's 5G. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not 5G. Because logic dictates. We go through and we look at what's going on. Ignore China as the example. You can't look at China as the example because it's a closed country. We have no fucking clue what happened in China. None. We have a couple of videos that were leaked. It means jack shit. They could have been anyone putting those videos out. So let's take China, push it off the table. The biggest hit was Northern Italy. I talked about this on Saturday. In Northern Italy, there is no 5G. There is 5G in Milan. There is 5G in Naples. There is 5G in Rome. I went and I looked up the maps. I went and looked up every map. Things to remember. What are everyone complaining about the 5G? Oh, they're putting up towers everywhere. Why are they putting up towers everywhere? Because the 5G wave is a very short wave. It does not propagate beyond 500 meters, which is why they have to keep putting up towers all over the place. So if you have a 5G tower in Milan, guess what? The 5G doesn't reach all the small cities around Milan where all these coronavirus cases came from. None of the people were in Milan. None of them were in Naples. None of them were in Venice. Not one. I went through, and I got a friend of mine who speaks Italian. We were going through papers. You track it all down. There was no 5G. Spain gets hit. Whole pile of people in Andalusia. There is no 5G in Andalusia, Spain. Areas of France got hit. Some of the first areas of France that got hit do not have 5G. Logic dictates when we can sit there and we can go, here are the cases of coronavirus, here's the 5G. Bingo, obviously, 5G is not connected to these coronavirus outbreaks. But people are continuously swallowing it whole and spewing it out because it has become a programmed narrative. And I've talked about this for years. Back in 2015, we all blamed CERN for everything. Everything. Everything that happened, it was CERN. I was one of those people. Back in 2011, 2012, we blamed everything on Fukushima. Everything was Fukushima. Didn't matter what it was. Didn't matter what happened. It was Fukushima. So there's always something that's put in front of us to look at, like 5G, CERN, Fukushima, HARP. You pick one. Chemtrails. And then every single thing is blamed for that one thing.
Hey, Danny.
Yes, love.
What I was going to finish with was everything that's going on right now. Take the virus out of it.
Yep.
Take 5G out of it. Take every goddamn excuse and blame out of it.
Yep.
And just look what is happening.
Yep.
And yes, there is a push for this isolation, to distance ourselves. And I don't think it's virus related.
Can I say something?
Yeah, Christina, let's hear you.
About this isolation. Isolation is a kind of torture for any human being.
Yep.
What's going on now, like in Spain, in Italy, even with all these balcony parties that they're showing how much fun, people are really suffering. Small apartments, 5, 6, 7 people in there with toddlers. Can you imagine that?
Yep.
People are gonna beg for any help. Please help me. I want to get out of this.
Yep.
And I saw this as a kind of a torture. I don't know.
Oh no, I agree. And this is it. I'm very involved in homeschooling. I'm very involved in the World School groups. And in our World School group, some of the first people affected were the World Schoolers who are in China, teaching in China. They're all teachers in China, and they're American, they're British, they're Canadian, they're French, they're Italian, and they're in China with their families. And all the schools got closed down in China. And they were like saying to us, our kids, all the children are so bored. Give us videos. It doesn't even have to be educational, just fun videos. Things like if you have a tour of your hometown or a tour that you've seen of, like, I don't know, the Tower of London or the Eiffel Tower, or the kids want to see it. They need something to keep them going, you know, give them something to think about, something that they're not just sitting there bored. If you have ideas for great card games, things that they can, crafts that they can do on like minimal supplies. And everyone came together, like in the World School Group did really awesome. Like they put videos out and they put huge amount of links to educational sites, huge amount of links for educational games for kids to play to kind of keep them occupied, huge amount of links to, like I say, crafts, things that you can do in the house, simple baking and cooking recipes that you could get your children involved in so that they're doing something. Isolation is a terrible thing. For us, we have this. We have what we're doing right now. There are several unfuckers who have pro accounts. So we could literally rotate it around. I'm sure we have at least 7 unfuckers who've got pro Zoom accounts. They could arrange every day for there to be a chat like this, where people can come in and just go, oh my God, I had, you know, this, or I'm stressed, or I had a great day, or I, you know, and be able to talk, because this is a major outlet that we never had. At any time this kind of shit happened before, this wasn't available. This was not available. It's only a now thing that we have the ability, not just to get on a phone call and call our family and friends, but to do this face to face, to talk and go, hey, Roger, how's it going? Maury, great to see you. Tracy, oh, you know, your hair looks lovely today. We haven't had that ability before, which we do have now.
And not just the last,
yeah,
and not just the last out, and not just the last outlet. Like the way you're speaking, Danny, is honestly, it's like how logical and rational you're being, kind of making me uncomfortable. You know, not used to people being so rational and so logical. And it's almost like, you know, and I figure out the new tagline to RTS Earth, it's our Transpeakers Views. It's like, sanity, the last frontier.
The last frontier. Logic and rationality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to bring,
like it's a community that, oh my God, has that clarity associated with it, which is rare, a rare gem.
Yeah. Go ahead, Roger.
I would like to bring up something about schools. And just recently, well, it was middle of the month last month, I was hired on for a company out of California to assist children with reading and comprehension issues. And their parents, it was taking incoming calls online, but doing it all from home. It was a decent base wage. It was a decent setup for commissions and things of that sort. And I was supposed to begin training April 2nd, but they've canceled everything. And it's not going to happen until next season, which is going to be the summer of 2021. So I'm kind of livid that I had all these things set up. I work at the Civic Center, and they've closed down everything too. There are no concerts, no anything coming to Rapid City, South Dakota, nothing. And you'll be lucky if you can get hired on with daily work, daily pay places. I signed up for one of those too, and they have literally nothing coming in because everyone is scared about what's going on. Last Friday, I went to the grocery store. They were sold out of bananas, TP, and the lines went bloody everywhere, all throughout the grocery stores. Yeah. Walmarts were sold out. It was hard to find toilet paper. I finally found some, but
glad you did. I didn't.
Yeah, but now I'm sitting here going, okay, now I have to find a job again. And try to find work. And I really do hope here in America that this stimulus thing for just people like us does come through, because they announced this morning, that, Trump and his crew announced that they're trying to make it to where people who are renting homes, apartments, what have you, and or mortgages, they're not evicted, and or they don't have to make mortgage payments. Okay.
Yep.
So now we're just sitting here on bated breath. You know, I don't have enough money to pay my rent for the next month because everything fell through. I've got my last $100 for food until, you know, the gods and goddesses know when. So I'm just like sitting here going, what the hell, you know? And these classes that we were selling them online, and classroom classes where kids could go to college campuses to take these classes, but they're all closed too. So I just received my email a couple hours ago saying, hey, sorry, everything's canceled. You were hired on. We like you. Maybe we'll hire you, you know, rehire you next summer. So I'm just, you know, fit to be tied.
And this is everywhere. And this is what I said. And you were on when we first started talking. I was talking literally just looking at transportation and tourism. That sector alone is going to have such a massive impact and trickle down impact on the economy, because it's not just there's no flights coming in. It's the fact of there's no tourists coming in, so they're not going to the theater because the theaters are closed. They're not going to the restaurant because the restaurants are closed. They're not going to take a taxi because the taxis are going to be closed. They're not the trickle down effect. And in a small country, I talked about this before. We've watched in Malta and Gozo, we watched literally tourism nosediving over the last 2 years. And I try to talk to the local people and explain to them, like, tourism is only going to get worse. And even before the coronavirus stuff, I was saying to them, this summer, this coming 2020 summer, is going to be really bad. And if you're not prepared, if you have a business that is focused 100% on tourism, which is our business, right? Like one of our businesses is 100% tourism. If you don't have a secondary outlet, a secondary plan in place, it's going to have a huge impact, and it's right through the whole economy. It's, you know, if restaurants close, guess what? Stores aren't selling as much produce and meat and products, and it just goes like that all the way through.
Now, here in South Dakota, everything in Rapid City is based on tourism during the summer. You got Mount Rushmore. I used to drive cab for the last couple summers doing that. Sturgis is taking place during the summer. Everything here during the summer, the whole year, all the profits revolve around consumer tourism. And during the winter, everything shuts down. You're lucky to have a full-time job year-round here. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and this is it. So this is why I'm saying we are looking at.
Can I
go ahead,
one
Zero.
comment on that?
Yeah.
So it's tempting to, you know, be kind of focused on the right now, what's changing right now, what's going to change in the future. But really, and I know it's simple to say this, but really, things have changed, period. Like, there's no going back from this.
Yeah,
like,
there is not.
Even when the virus or whatever settles, like the world has changed forever.
Yeah.
From this moment on, like there's no going back.
Yeah.
Like, things have changed forever.
Yeah. No, Nick and I have had this conversation. There's a lot of people that I've run into, and they talk and they say things like, "Oh, but when things get back to normal," I'm like, normal doesn't exist anymore. You're now in uncharted waters. This is a brand new territory that we're in. And it's an open book for us now. And that's one of the things I want to focus on. One of the things I want to talk about today is, like I said, so we talked about the whole Agenda 21 and all of this. Oh, they're trying to wipe out humanity, blah, 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 bullshit. Okay? I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it because I'm being overly optimistic and I've got my head in the clouds and my road-colored glasses on. No. We're in a very interesting situation right at this moment. And we can look at things from our days, and to going forward. We have an ability right now to change and create some really new shit. Even in the point of how we do things, how we experience life in general. And we have an opportunity to make some really good changes. Go ahead, Bossy.
Yeah, exactly. We are now, I mean, like these assholes say, never let a good crisis go to waste. Let's do the same this time and say,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we love globalism, we love open borders and all that shit. We love cooperating with another, like we are all citizens of Earth. But let's push again for an idea that we manufacture the shit over here in our own countries that we need daily, and those essential things, right?
Yep.
Like this way we can all try to steer the companies in a way that we now literally use recycling. We recycle shit from now on. We build our own shit here, fair prices, fair loans. Let's get everyone to work. Let's be dependent on our own, but we can help other people, right? Like we are still cooperating, but we are not anymore under this goddamn fucking cabal that had since January the 18th time to close all the borders to the hotspots, right? They did nothing. Now they did it.
Yeah,
So
but that's another one of those pieces where you know that was part of the game plan.
Exactly. And this is why we need to step in now all on our local area, be the change that we want to see, right? I guess, Zero, you're gonna agree with me, right? Like, be the man in the mirror you want to be. So let's bring back all the shit down here. We can depend on ourselves, but we can help other people, right? So if we have a surplus, we are willing to help everyone. But let's be self-dependent, so shit like this can never ever happen again, right?
Well, there's an aspect to this. There's, and I lost the fucking link, and I've searched for it, and you think I can damn well find it again. There was a brilliant TED Talk by a woman who is an economist. And she talked about a situation that happened in a town in Germany right after World War II. And, of course, Germany was desolated, just decimated after World War II. There was no economy. I mean, it was in terrible, terrible state. And this small town, smallish town, small city, they didn't know what to do. And the mayor said, we have to do something. We have to do something to look after our local economy, our people. Never mind this whole countrywide. No, our people here, our economy. And he put together a plan, and he created a currency. They created their own currency, and they distributed a set amount of that currency into the community. Within 6 months, his town went from being completely devastated to the point of starvation to being a thriving internal economy. Thriving. That other mayors from all around his area were coming to him and going, what the fuck did you do? What did you do? And he told them, this is what we did. So several of them took the ideas back and they tried to institute it. And then the government call went. And they came in and they stomped it out. Why? Because they'd created a way within their own local community to actually create a thriving economy within the community. They had their own farmers, they had their own shoemakers, they had their own tailors, they had, like everyone was there. They just needed the money to get everything flowing again. And that's what happened. Now, I always talk about all the time, saying like shop local. Try to not go to your Walmarts. Try to not go to your Targets. Try to not spend your money at Amazon. Try to not spend your money with the big mega corporations. Try to support your local businesses. Well, guess what? Once we get through this next couple of weeks, and I think the next 2 weeks, we're going to see shit that was going to blow our freaking minds play out. Once we get through this next couple of weeks, once we get things where, for example, they're not going to be able to sell the whole pandemic anymore because Wuhan has got no more fucking cases. They haven't had a new case. They had one new case of the virus last week. One. The virus is done in Wuhan. Done.
Yeah, but
they've already gotten through it.
So
one second. You're now implying that they are telling. Sorry for being an asshole, but you are implying they are telling us the truth, and it's not like
No, I'm
it's
not implying
like
that they're telling us the truth.
Chernobyl, right? Like
We can only go by what they tell us. This is what I'm saying. And I have boots on the ground in China. I have several world school families who I'm talking to all the time who are telling me what they see in China daily. And all the shit that you're hearing in the alt media is not what they're experiencing. They're not experiencing that shit in China. And these are the people who are in China, boots on the ground. They're Americans, Canadians, French, Italians, Germans. That's not what they're seeing.
Well, even so, like there are a few things right now that have changed forever. Like, for example, the minimum wage service food workers aren't going to forget that they were the ones that were considered essential when everything was shut down. They're not going to forget that. Another thing is people at work aren't going to forget that, wow, all those meetings really could have been emails. You know, little things like that. Or like, you know, wow, America's reaction to this was really profit oriented.
But here's the thing. I want to go back to what I was saying. Once we get over this mountain that's in front of us right this second, once we get past all this isolation and quarantine, etc.,
and hyperventilating and take a deep breath,
we are going to find that we now have the options of dealing with different people differently. I.e., things like, for example, we saw what just happened. You can't get fresh vegetables from the market. People will start choosing differently. Like we said before when we went live, going to the little Asian grocery stores and the little Indian grocery stores where they bring in their own shit in and they've got rice and they've got their stuff. And you got your own butcher, the butcher who's in your town who actually has deals with the local farmers, and the local farmers sell their vegetables to the vegetable markets, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, the local bakery who buys the flour from the local mill that grinds the wheat. These are the kind of economies that we can start building. And I think it's going to be very, very important that we do build on these economies. I think we're going to have an opportunity to actually do this now. That we're going to see some of these big boys are going to take enough of a hit. And the public perception is an amazing fucking thing right now. Now, we're all over the world. We've got Austria, we've got the US, we've got England, Ireland, we've got Germany, we've got Spain, we've got France, we've literally got everyone spread all over the world. I think we even have one of our Aussies in here today. All of a sudden, you're going to have a whole pile of people. And everyone's going to have different perceptions, and different areas are going to be different. But for me, personally, I'm watching people wake the fuck up. Like, smack them across the face, and they're going, what? Every person I've spoken to since I've arrived in England, which will be 2 weeks today, actually. 2 weeks today that I've been in England. Every single person I have spoken to thinks that this is all fucking bullshit, thinks that it's all the government pushing their own fucking bullshit, and that they think it's all been badly mishandled, and they're all questioning the mainstream. They don't believe anything the mainstream media is saying to them. It's a massive wake-up point for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to go, what the fuck? And boom.
Danny, exactly. If we red pill now everyone we know, since we are all very soon under house arrest, also since yesterday, I don't know if it's still up to date, but Google lost their autofill-in filter, so you can autofill in everything you like and see what people are Googling and what is trending and shit. And I don't know if it was rumored it was on Facebook and Twitter too. Did you notice anything weird yesterday, like on your feeds?
No,
normally?
my fucking whole feed on Facebook, my internet went down. I couldn't get shit to go. My Facebook wasn't feeding properly. My Facebook was crashing Firefox. I mean, and I put a post up about that, and apparently a lot of people had tech problems yesterday.
if you're settled in or everyone else, please drop red pills to the normies, so to speak.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tell everyone we have
And the
time
environment-
now, right?
Well, the environment is right for it too. Like I kind of smiled and I couldn't believe it when a lot of people were sharing on Facebook, was floating around. Today is National
National Apologize to Your Local Conspiracy Theorist Day.
That was awesome.
I fucking loved that. I was just like, that's right. Listen, I went to the grocery store this morning. We had a young guy who was our cashier, and I'm always like super friendly with people anyway. So, hey, how's it going? Oh, yeah, yeah. And of course, they're immediately, oh, where are you from? Oh, we're from Canada. We just moved here. And I'm like, so how are you surviving this insanity? And he's like, oh, it's just, you know. And then we played this little game. It was hysterical. We played the little game. He would say, I'd like, so, you know, what do you think? And he'd be like, oh, yeah, it's a little strange. What's going on? So I'd drop another hint, and he'd drop a hint. And we basically, by the time we'd rung all the groceries through, we're talking about Agenda 21. We're talking about the government lying to everything, that the whole coronavirus is a crock of shit, a new financial system is about to roll out, the whole bit. And I walked out of there with the biggest smile on my face, because it was really obvious. He was like, I'm talking to someone who gets me. He gets it. I got it. And it was, but it's everywhere. Like everywhere. There's all these people who've had these little, you know, they're not part of the Unfuckers. They're not watching any shows like the kind of shit that we do, but they have these niggling doubts in the back of their head, and they're like, but they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be labeled weird, you know, like us. They don't want to be labeled. They don't want to. They don't have anyone they think they can talk about it. They're afraid to talk about it. But guess what? They're all starting to talk about it, and they're realizing that no, everyone's saying the same shit. Everyone's on the same page. They all think the same fucking shit. They're all like, this is all fucked. They're all lying to us. Mainstream media is a bunch of cocksucking liars. I'm never believing a word they say again. Government, it's all lying to me. This is all about finance and money. They're all on that page. It is awesome. Just awesome.
You know, Danny, it's been so funny because I've had friends phone me up and they say, Tracy, you're into your conspiracy theories. What do you think about it? And I'm like, I told you, motherfuckers. That's why I have a
told you so.
score.
I had a conversation with someone who is doesn't ever listen, and she was all like, and I was like, I have been telling you for 6 fucking months to prep. I've been telling you for 6 fucking months to get your toilet paper, to get your food in the house, to be prepared, and you didn't fucking listen, and now you're coming to me to cry me a story? Fucker, I told you. She was like, yeah, I know, I should have listened. I'm like, oh, well, at least
in that whole, sorry, my phone died. In that whole spirit of I told you so, you know it's a positive sign when in Facebook, there's a meme floating around that says, today is National Apologize to a Conspiracy Theorist Day.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to change that term conspiracy theorist
to
critical thinker, people. That's what we need to do. And that's what I've been doing in my posts, in changing it. You know, critical thinking.
So I want to talk about the positives. And this just came up today for us. And the world has changed now. We cannot go back. The box has been blown open. There's no putting that box back together. The world has been changed. And I want to focus on some of the little things that a lot of aspects people aren't thinking about. So one of the big ones we were talking about in our house today, all the kids are off school. Now, all of a sudden, all these kids are going to a homeschooling type medium. I have already had 2 different friends, hosts, people who I've known for years, and I'm talking at least 10 years on Facebook, who've always had that whole thing like, oh, I would homeschool my kids, but I can't, it's just too hard. I'm too busy. Well, now they've been forced because the kids are off school and they're out of work. Now they've been forced into this role, and they're all turning around going, oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, I really kind of like this. Oh, we found these great things on the client. Oh, and because I've been posting lots of educational stuff on my wall on Facebook. Like, oh, and all of a sudden there's this change of perspective that a lot of people are going to go through the next couple of months of homeschooling, and September is going to show up, and they're going to be like, yeah, no, I don't think so. We really like this homeschooling. We're not going back to your school. When they see the changes in their kids, if you have a special needs kid like my Logan, and they've gone through so much trauma because of the school system and because they're being trying to force these round pegs into these square holes, and then they're going to be at home, and they're going to be feeling so much better and confident, and they're going to actually want to learn, and they're going to enjoy learning. And then all of a sudden, the whole concept of education changes. Just all of a sudden changes. There's no more, like Marseille said, no more bullying. There's no more Common Core. There's no more bullshit. Like,
imagine you have a class and you have a father or a mother that is a specialist on something, that has now all the time in the world to chip in and tell how it is, and not
exactly. And little things. So one of the things that I found really, really interesting. So there's really important articles came out this week and last week talking about, if you get this COVID-19, do not take an ibuprofen, an NSAID, anti-inflammatory for the fever. It causes really bad reactions, really, really bad reactions.
You want to know what they did over here for a couple of days? They told it was a lie over here in the media. You can take it without any problems. Don't worry at all. And I don't know if it was today or yesterday, they said, well, don't take that stuff, you know, even if it's fake news, don't take it.
Right, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Again, on the flip side of that, right? So you have exactly your story, Bossy, which is perfect. The story comes out, don't take ibuprofen. It's terrible if you have this virus. Do not take it, right? And then the news turns around and tells you, no, it's fine. And then 4 or 5 days later goes, oh, yeah, no, it's really, really bad. Don't take it. The public is seeing this shit. So we talked about homeopathics on Saturday, right? And Anne gave her recommendations of certain homeopathics to have on hand to deal with shock, to deal with fevers, to deal with various simple flu symptoms. The homeopathic kit that I put a link to is the best homeopathic kit out there, in my opinion. I have used the Helios kits for 10 years now. Helios homeopathy, and they're just a little plastic kit. I usually have one sitting right here too, with 18 basic remedies in it. They're almost sold out. They're almost sold out everywhere. Why is that? Because people are starting to catch on. They're starting to catch on that the allopathic Western medicine is not helping. It's not making them better. It is not helping them deal with these things. It's certainly not making them any better. And they're starting to look to other means. So this is one of the things. Like I said, yes, there is a global shipping problem right now. And yes, a good portion of pharmaceuticals comes from China and India. And yes, there is a very good chance that over the next month or two, that we could see them running out of certain pharmaceuticals, which is why I say, if you're on a prescription that you must take, then you should have at least 1 month extra in supply just to be sure. But when all of a sudden you can't get things for, say, cough syrup, cold remedies, so then you turn around and you start asking around, and you the same type of thing. And I'm getting messages from those kind of people who are going like, Danny, I remember years ago you told me about this cough syrup you used to make for your kids. I'm like, yeah, here's the recipe. They're like, oh, awesome, thank you. People are going to start looking elsewhere to look out for their health. They're going to start using homeopathy. They're going to start using herbalism, essential oils, etc., etc. And at that point, again, they're all of a sudden going to go, wow, am I going to go back a month later when all of a sudden all these prescription medications become available again? Am I going to go back? Or am I going to continue feeling really, really good because I'm doing this, this, and this, and it worked, and it cost me like 1/10 of the price?
And
People
can
are
I draw an
not going
analogy
to go
with that?
back. Yeah, go ahead, Zero.
So to draw an analogy with that concept of not going back from the one provided source, I think this also applies to the way education and homeschooling or just schooling in general is going to go. Remember back in the 90s how there were no iPhones, there was no Netflix, there was no streaming services. The only platform there really was TV.
Yep.
Like there is TV, that's pretty much what it was. And then, and you can, in that analogy, TV can be like, mainstream education, the Common Core. Like it's just, this is what you have, these are your options. And then when streaming services came out, all of a sudden people could deep dive into their own interests. They could pick their own areas that they, want to consume and look into. And once that became an option,
it blows the
basic
door
TV
open,
kinda
right? Are you
died.
gonna are you gonna
blows
go
the
back
door.
to watching PBS cable TV? No.
Flipping channels.
Yeah, getting up and actually turning the channel. My God, you must be joking me.
Yes, and on that note, also the same with remote working. Everybody's working from home.
Yeah, exactly. That was the next
Late,
point I was
nice
going to
time.
say,
The weather is
Christina.
nice. Yeah, the weather is nice. They can go for a walk, then go back home, work a little more, or watch something with the kids, or homeschooling the kids, and then 8 o'clock, okay, I'll do 3 hours of work. Why do I have to go to an office? Why do I have to go back to the hamster wheel?
Uh-huh. That is one of those things that's going to change radically. That is one of those next pieces I was going to talk about, is the fact that people are going to start going, why was I going into an office every day to do this? I could do this at home. I can have a remote meeting like this with all my coworkers once a day. And you're going to see, because it's not just on the employees' side. It's going to be on the employer's side as well. When employers are going to suddenly go, well, wait a second. When Danny's working at home, she got all those reports done and looked after a sick kid at the same time. Whereas before, when she had to come into the office, if her kid was sick, she'd have the day off of work. And have her day off work, and that means I was short-staffed. But now she does the job at home and does it there's going to be a very radical change that's going to come from this.
Imagine how good this is for climate change when you don't have to drive anywhere anymore because you're staying at home, right? You don't burn the stuff in traffic jam. Oh, and by the way, a side note, if you're working from home and you have a relatively good working computer, and you know what you're doing, there's a project out there called Folding at Home. Folding, like folding the clothes at home, where you can donate either CPU or GPU time to, like, for example, now with Corona, do help them with the computing time to find stuff to help. You can also do it for AIDS, Alzheimer's, cancer, whatever you want.
CERN.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But if you do it right now with any disease, you do it basically for the really needed simulations and help out. I mean, there are millions of people doing it right now, but if you're at home and you have time, you know what you're doing, do it, help it, chip in.
May I say something?
Hold on. Okay, Gabrielle, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, you go next, Gabrielle. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you all. You are such great people, and Danny, that you make this happen, that we all come together. It's my first time that I speak to you all, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's just us. We all hang out.
Okay, first of all, I want to go back to some issues that I have. My stomach is hurting like crazy since this all started. I try to drink herb tea. I try to come down with dragon drops that I have. nothing helps. My husband, the same way, his stomach is hurting. A lot of people here in town have stomach problems ever since they started. And I think it has to do with a great purge that is happening now. The next thing I want to say is, when they all keep us isolated at home, what my theory was that we can't look up in the sky anymore. And so therefore, my husband saw, and I even saw it, that there is almost no more chemtrails up there in the sky. The sky is clear. And people talk about it in communities. And the same thing that, and what I wanted to say, oh gosh, I'm so, calm down, Gabrielle.
Just take a breath, take a breath.
When I try to talk to my normies about this, they all still don't believe it. A lot of people believe what the government is saying, what our chancellor is saying, and blah, blah, blah. And I even heard today, it's just a rumor right now, but they are saying that we are getting shut down on Friday this week. So
where are you, Gabrielle? Where are you exactly?
In Germany, Baden-Württemberg.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, Bayern, blah blah blah. This area.
Yeah, and my son is in
Frankfurt.
Sorry, I had to get the word in my head. He's in Darmstadt, and they've closed everything down. Like he says, even the stores are closed, and you can only go to the store from X time to X time.
Okay.
And only major stores are open. He says all the schools, everything's closed. Everything is closed. Hold on, Penny.
Megan made a good comment here. I think you should read her and listen to her. It has to do with the constellations, with the planets and stuff. And I always, when that started, my first thought was it has to do with, it's almost like a 9/11, but it's more, it's more, I don't know, I can't find the word now.
Megan, are you there right now? I'm trying to see if Megan's still here with us. Yeah, Megan, can you come out for a second? Because I saw your comment go by and I actually did want to get back to that. Can you talk, or do you have a baby?
I hope she's coming back.
Yeah, let me say this real fast, because has anybody been outside and just looked around?
Yeah.
I just went out and smoked a cigarette not just a little bit ago, and oh my God, my street is a friggin' community again.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I love it. There was
people
a
are
guy
talking to their neighbors.
Yes.
You're all at home.
Yes, there was a guy that would normally be at work, till God knows when. He was out walking his 2 dogs. Yep. It's an actual community.
And that's one of the other, we're going to get there too, because that's one of the other pieces I want to talk about, is the community aspect of when all of a sudden people are home, they have an opportunity to actually meet their neighbors, talk to their neighbors. God forbid, go offer something to you, like you got an extra bag of sugar or something, and they're like, hey, are you guys okay? Do you need something? Especially if you have older neighbors. If you have older neighbors who are around you, this kind of thing. Kids, you get to know the kids in your neighborhood.
It's almost like a black and white sitcom out of America right now, like where the people are actually at home mowing their lawn. People are at home cooking, families home, you know what I mean? Like everyone is not all day working their butts off. It's like back.
Yeah. Well, and all day cooking. So there's another aspect to this. And that was one of the other things I was going to talk about. When all of a sudden the shelves are bare and you can't get mac and cheese and ramen noodles anymore, you're going to have to learn to cook. And people are going to start learning, and they're going to have to start learning how to cook a proper dinner. And then all of a sudden realize, they go, well, that wasn't so hard. Oh, gee, that was really yummy. Oh, I feel so good. I made this. It was so good. Everyone in my family loved it. New skills come up.
You know,
It's
that was so
almost like
funny.
an unfucker has reset the world.
That's right.
You know, this was so funny.
There's actually a quarantine support group that, like, a local quarantine support group that was made in my area, and people are sharing things, sharing what they're out of or what they have excess, and like
Exactly.
and connecting that way, and like.
Yep. And it's brilliant, right? Because this is the whole thing. You sit there, let's say for me, I went out and I grabbed I went out and bought a packet of these. I didn't really fucking need them. I never fucking use these because what a waste of plastic. These are like those little pocket tissue packs. But same type of thing. If my neighbor turns around and be like, I'm out of tissue. I really, really need tissue. I'll be like, you know, take it. It was 56 cents. I don't, these kinds of things. And a call back into community, that communities start coming together. And I keep going back and I talk about that blackout that happened in Toronto in 2003.
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing.
Exactly, Earl, because you were there too.
I was there too because I can remember it was like my parents were talking with their neighbors because but we had good, somewhat neighbors back then, but now we have idiots on our block, But yeah, I mean,
community came together.
It's crazy, and this is what I'm seeing. Like, we're seeing something that I think by design. I think it's all by design because I don't think if you're the dark one, as some people like to call them, I don't think they would want to have this done with people. I think they would, because people envision something like this happening now, where they're being dragged, out of their homes, by military, or being shot in their homes, or something like that, or big riots in the street,
This is the whole thing, though. This is the point that I keep coming back to. And I'm not meaning this in that whole love and light, fucking new age bullshit. We created all. No. But we have a choice of how we think about our time, how we think about what is playing out right now. We have a choice. We can be angry and pissed off and fearful, etc. Or we can choose to go, fucking awesome. I'm going to finally paint that wall over there in my fucking bathroom that I've been saying for a year. The paint's sitting in the garage for a year. I've been saying I'm going to paint the hallway. I'm going to go paint the hallway. I'm going to go trim my garden. I'm going to go learn to do something new and fun.
Or that new family that's about to come into existence, where the parents are like, well, we have to get that nursery ready for our baby that's coming,
Yeah, this is it. It is about, listen, it's really funny. Quinlan turned around and said to me today, my eldest daughter was like, she's been kind of bored. It's been rainy for the last few days. And she was like, I've read 3 books in the last 3 days. And I love it. And I love it. I feel so good. How many of us have stopped? I stopped reading. You have to understand, anyone who knows me from like years ago, I am a readaholic. When I get into a book, it's like Danny is gone. That's it. And there are days where like nothing gets done, because if I'm reading a really good book, I'll be cooking dinner while doing this. Turn the page. Literally, that's how bad I am. And then when I got really, really busy in 2012, 2013, with doing all the news shows, with doing all of these things, you have to cut things out of your life, and you have to go, I can't. And I stopped reading for pleasure. And all my reading was research, documents, etc. And this summer, I made a choice. The summer just passed. I made a choice and was like, you know what? I fucking miss reading. I am making the time in my life, even if it is just for 15 minutes before I go to bed every night, even if it's all just half an hour. And I've made the decision. That's what I'm going to do. And every night, with the exception of like the occasion when you're just too fucking tired, every night since August, I have read for at least a half an hour before I go to bed. I have read, I don't know how many books. I think I've probably read about 35 books since August and love it again. But this is the opportunities that we have to rediscover what we have. Take this perceived negative shit that's happening and turn it into something positive for yourself, whatever interests you.
I feel
Go
like
play with your dogs. I don't know. Teach your dogs new tricks in the backyard. Whatever.
I feel like I woke up on one side of the bed. You know, like I went to bed, rolled over during the night, woke up, and somehow I mean, it would transport me to a different reality where, you know, the government's like, we're here, we're ready to help you, you know. But it's like,
What?
well,
Who are you?
what?
What have you done with my government?
I feel
Yeah.
like someone else is under it. It feels like, you know, where you clean up something like, okay, this place is under new management now. That's how
Okay,
I
so
feel. I'm sorry if
Think
people,
about this.
I'm sorry if people don't think, some people here don't think that way, but that's how I feel, man.
Here's the
Hey,
thing.
let me
Go ahead,
quickly throw in the stupid joke. Earl, I guess you agree with me. I feel like every morning getting up like Picard, like the good Picard, not the
Damage
shit
report.
show. Exactly. Like, I mean, literally, I feel like damage report. I don't know the roller coaster to describe that I have been living through the last 3 weeks. Like, I've gone from, oh, you're just a fucking retard, you don't know what's going on, to like going through all this trouble, all the infighting in the family, to now like, oh my god, I'm thanking you. We have now a supply, right? Like, since January, I was stocking up every week, like one of every item every week, or every time I went out. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I don't want to sound like an asshole. I didn't buy the shit when everyone bought it. I did it back then, like in a conscious way. I leave enough for everyone. I just take one
Yeah.
more item, and I'm kind of good stocked, right? Like for right now, it's not the virus that I'm scared of. It's about the people that gonna go
Exactly.
feral, like literally turning into zombies. Like, and I'm kind of concerned about the governments. Like, there are so many
Absolutely.
like literally there are so many rumors. The boards that I serve right now are like there's like happening somewhere, like a fucking thing fucking up every minute on this planet right now.
Yeah.
Like, people are going crazy.
But
And
here's
I'm
the
so
thing. Comes back to, I had this conversation with my daughters just
but
this
hang on,
morning.
one
Go ahead,
more
finish.
point to make.
Okay.
But even with all this insanity out there, it moves me to the heart that there are so many people out there fighting right now for humanity. You know what I mean? Like, no matter where you go, there are all these people chipping in, trying to put out what is real, trying to save lives, and these goddamn fucking governments left us in the dark. Like, literally, they threw us in the meat grinder, and now is the chance for us to turn this fucking this happening into like the greatest thing of everything. Like, you know, I saw it so many times in my life. The saddest situations, the most grim situations that we have out there can turn into a fucking victory. When nature is on your side, you know. And it's so fucking scary to see all these people not thinking about other people, you know what I mean, out there. It is, you know, I don't care who you are for, if you are for Bernie Sanders or for Trump. We are human beings, for goddamn sake. We are not leaving anyone behind. If you're for blue team or red team, I'm for green team. I'm for humanity. I don't care. I'm sorry for that meltdown.
It's totally okay, Bossy, and I love you. Just know that. I love you. Okay?
And not
We
to
have
be
talked, hold on, Zero, just give me a second. We have talked over and over again for the last, especially the last year, but the concept of there, hold on, Jane, about about there being a reset. That topic has come up over and over again. Now, this could be a reset, but it is what we make of it. It is how we use this and how we move forward. It is really, honestly, and going back to the whole thing about the mind virus, there's a lot of people, and I'm included. I have my days where I'm like, just fucking like, holy shit, what the fuck? Oh my fucking God. It's very easy. No, I'm not even going to say easy because that's not even the right word. It is very normal. It is very normal. We all have our days. We all have our moments within a day where you get completely overwhelmed, where the negativity coming in, whether it's just that negativity that's around you in your own local neighborhood, to what's on social media, to what's on the news, to what's the government fucking bullshit is, it is very normal for us to have those moments where we spin out of control and you spin down to the point of just completely feeling crushed. It's normal. And we should never think less of ourselves for having those moments because it is normal. We are not always going to all feel all up and chipper and happy-go-lucky every minute of the day. We're not always going to be able to look on the positive side. There's going to be those days when you're just fucking overwhelmed. Even sometimes it's just the dishes in the sink that is enough to put you over the edge to make you completely fucking overwhelmed. Trust me, I know.
But by the same token, our human mind is extraordinarily capable and extraordinarily powerful of seizing control of our perceptions. Now, this isn't meant to be a love and light.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Exactly.
But like, just from raw experiences I've read, that if people are capable of living in World War II Nazi concentration camps and are able to see the silver lining in that situation, and while they're in it, and seize control of their reality narrative without denying it, but still able to have somewhat of a, like, to seize control over how they perceive their experience, just tells me of how quite extraordinary our minds are at being able to seize control over our perception reality.
Well, I'm going to get Megan to come out because I think she's finally got the baby put down for a second. The one thing that makes me laugh, I'm in England right now. All the old timers here, they lived through fucking World War II. They lived through getting bombed, fucking explosions, and no food, and no shoes, and all of that. And every old person I've spoken to has been like, seriously? There's food on the shelves. You have electricity, you have heating. Like, seriously, like, yeah. So yeah, put that into a little bit of perspective. Megan, do you have 2 seconds? Is she there?
I do. Yeah.
Yay! Okay. Hi, Megan.
2 seconds. The baby's out there crying, and I need to rescue Jessie. Just kind of tying into what Bessie was saying and what Zero was just saying. This isn't a bad thing that's happening. If you look at the astrology of what's going on, as above, so below, we're kind of on the cusp of the age of Aquarius, and we're starting to see some big energies moving into the age of Aquarius. However, as human beings, we don't tend to do so well as revolutionaries when we're complacent. And for the last year, we've been talking about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened in January and how this was going to ripple big changes through the year of 2020. Well, it's really going to be for the next 34 years, but it was going to kick off in January 2020. So we've had some astrological triggers since then The most recent big trigger that we've had was the full moon recently. So that was in Virgo. Virgo rules health, diseases, the body, those kind of things. And we also had Uranus conjunct Venus. So this is about unexpected things happening to the people. And we're still going through that in this cycle. It hasn't been cleared out yet.
Yeah.
We also have Saturn and Capricorn at the very last degree, which is a really critical thing. It's like Capricorn and Saturn are working together as hard as they can to get all the suppression, all the oppression, everything. It's like it's the 11th hour and it's do or die. We have to do it now. So we're feeling it like hard and fast because it's almost like, the proverbial they know this is when we have to do it. Unfortunately, in a few days when we have Saturn move into Aquarius, I don't think it's going to get better. I mean, it's Aquarius. I could be wrong. When you think it's coming in from up, it comes at you from, sideways down. It's bizarre like that. But I do feel like with the fact that you're going to have Mars, Pluto, and Jupiter all conjunct in the same area where the Saturn Pluto conjunction happened, it's not necessarily going to be like a release into freedom. I think we're actually going to see an increase of suppression of our human freedom. That's just what I see in the astrology. And it's already happening. I think it's going to pick up. But I think people are going to get really pissed off about it. And I think we need to be pissed off because we're not going to revolt if we're not mad. If we're complacent and, it's convenient to go down here to this big chain store and buy something cheap from China, well, we're just going to go put our ass back on our comfy couch and just keep on going business as usual. We can't do that anymore. Some people are going through a really tough time right now, and my heart goes out to them. Some people are kind of in denial that anything big is happening. But somebody had mentioned, I think it was Zero had mentioned it earlier, that there's no going back from this. Like, it's already happened. Like, it's already too late. Like, it's such a fundamental change that it's already too late.
The towers have fallen.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Saturn-Pluto conjunctions do. They change the structure as we know it forever going forward. And we're forced to rebuild a new one after the old one topples down. So we're in the process of the great dismantling right now. My heart was going out to you, Bassie, when you had your moment there. And I just want you to know, and this isn't like a love and light bullshit thing, but I honestly do believe that the astro never sets us up to fail. I honestly, truly believe that. But I also truly believe that sometimes the necessary thing isn't always the easiest thing. So sometimes we have to go through the ringer to get through the other side. Yeah. And I think if we look at what's happening right now, and if we look at an astrological point called the North Node, which is kind of like the compass point where the universe wants us to go, we're being called back into our humanness.
Yeah, back to our humanness.
Like, think about what Danny was saying about her and her daughter getting back into reading. Because we have the time now. We were all stuck in such a rat race that we didn't have time to embrace our humanness. It was get up, get ready, get the kids out the door, go to work. You know what I mean? If you had kids, you got them out the door, you get yourself out the door, you go to work. Yeah, it's an 8-hour day, but you got to factor in your 9-hour, or it's a 9-hour day because you have your lunch and you're on their time and you have your commute on either side, plus getting ready, plus decompressing. You're looking at like 12, 13, 14 hours of your day, plus sleep. That's your day. Mm-hmm. Your day has been dedicated to something else, to some institution that has been outside the boundary of your humanness. And now it's like those boundaries are coming down and we're actually being given the chance to embrace that again. And that's how we kind of heal where we're coming from, this really broken society that we all think was normal, but in reality, it's really pretty fucked up.
Yep.
And then we just get mad enough to do something about it going forward. And the node, which is what I was just talking about, that leads us back into our humanness right now. We're in Cancer, and it's soon leaving. So it's back in that critical, like, do or die stage. It's conjunct only off by 2 degrees, probably even more like 1.5 degrees of where they were during 9/11. So big changes, big things happen that push us outside of our comfort, but it's actually a misconception of what we think is comfortable, and we're being led into something that is truly comfortable on a deeper level, but we have to get very, very uncomfortable and navigate some major changes first.
And that's
keep
what
telling
that's
her
what we're
for the end
seeing
of the
right
year.
now. That's
Yeah,
exactly
absolutely.
what we're seeing right now. We are uncomfortable. People are uncomfortable. But sometimes it's the only way that change takes place. Most change isn't easy. It isn't smooth. It isn't seamless. It's uncomfortable. And you have to break your patterns. And that is one of the hardest things for people to do sometimes, is to break the patterns of your daily program, to begin something new. And so we're kind of being put into a situation right now where many of us have no choice but to break that program because it's been taken away from us. The kids are not in school. People are suddenly not working. They suddenly can't be going out to the pub, or they can't go to do the things that they normally do. They can't go to the gym and work out, whatever. All of a sudden, it forces everyone. You have to rethink. Not only do you have to rethink, you have to reprioritize. Yeah, exactly, Zero. There's no more sports, so you can't veg out and watch like the NHL and watch the latest basketball game, etc. Ain't gonna be there. What are you gonna do instead?
We are going through labor pains right now, and yeah.
Well, not labor pain, but we are all. I mean, I'm being an asshole to not mention it, but somehow we all going through the stages of grief right now. If it's not,
I'm not going through grief.
No, wait. Oh, hold on. You will go through all these stages, no matter what. If you lost someone or not, you will go through the stages because your social life is fucked from now. I mean, it's not fucked, you know, like there's the
Earl, let him finish, please.
One second. There's this meme, like you know, you probably saw it, like with all these comic book evil guys like Me and the Boys, right? Like now it's like, yeah, fuck you guys, Me and the Boys, we are under 5, right? We are 4, so fuck you, we can meet. But then there's also this other meme like, hey, see, this is Me and the Boys, we are on Skype, so fuck you, we can meet, right? Like, yeah, we're all coping, but it's like the small things. It is not going to a dance with a girl you love. It is not going out to a celebration with your family anymore, to go to
going to the movies,
to a restaurant. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of movies, now pretty much all the movies in the making are canceled because
that's right.
The Wu flu, and see, even people are getting so fucking pissed off because people saying like, oh my god, Wu flu, Kung flu, we need a flu. Like, oh my god, no, it's not a racist thing. Get over it. It's just fucking coping with the shit that is going on. We're all humans. We love dark humor. We like light humor. We like all kinds of humors. If we lose our humor, yeah, exactly. If we lose our humor, we are not humans anymore. So keep that in mind. Keep that laugh. Smile. They say it's the best thing for your defensive mechanism, right? Like laugh, smile, have a laugh, enjoy your time, make the best out of it. But we are all going through the stages of grief because nothing is any more like it used to be. The bombs are dropped, the towers have been fallen, the damage is done. Like there's not Leslie coming anymore and waving its tail, wanting to come with you to save Timmy out of the well. Timmy is already dead. No, he's not already dead. He's already a fucking skeleton there. The shit happened. We need to come to our senses and, you know, shape the world from now on, because now we are the creators that everyone said in the fucking new age system. We are now the creators. We shape now our own future, and we should do it.
But again, it's about practicality shaping our future. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not just being the armchair quarterback, sitting on the chair, wishing and fishing and all the rest of it. It means getting up and actually doing the shit. It means getting up and learning new ways to do things. It means getting up and trying something new, going through all of these changes. And it is a stage of grief. There's a lot of people who are going through a stage of grief. Now, I'm going to say, I mean, and I know a bunch of you are going to feel the same way as me. There's a lot of us who've been waiting for this to happen for years. We've been waiting for this to happen for fucking years. And there is a sense of, I don't know, what was the right word? Not of dread, that's not the right word. But when you know something's coming and you have been waiting, and in many cases, a lot of us preparing for years. When it's there in front of you, there is a
like the meme
double
and
fight or flight. It's interesting because it's like there's the fight of like, yes, it's here now, I can move on, I'm prepared, I have it. But at the same time, there's also this, oh my fucking God, it actually happened. Holy shit. And there's almost a flight panic feeling that can come with it.
Yeah.
Star.
I was going to say, yeah, apprehension, like you said, it's not a dread, it's an apprehension.
Apprehension, yep, very much so.
it's
And
like
that is normal. That is to feel that way is normal. And even those of us who, like I said, been preparing for this shit for fucking years.
it's sort of like that Lord of the Rings meme, and so it begins.
And
like,
so it begins.
yeah,
Exactly.
like that energy. It's that kind of energy. It's like,
Hey, Danny, it's like we've all been in a cage, like a societal cage for as long as we've known, and the doors open, and we're like, everybody's like, okay, hey, you can come out now, and we're like, well, no, like, I like my cage. My cage is comfortable. I know my cage.
I know my cage.
Megan, I'm
Hey,
glad you're
Megan
back.
nailed it.
Megan?
How many now are going to go back into that cage once this is over? And that is, oh, I hope not. I hope not.
I have a feeling that a lot of people are not going to go back to that.
Exactly.
I hope
and,
you're
and
right.
that's what I mean by, and I'm not talking about us.
Right.
None of us are going back into the cage. We all know that, right? I'm talking, this is what I've been saying all this entire show. The average person on the street. This is all of this. They're not going to want to go back. There's going to be enough that's going to be so radical a change that will show them a new perspective on things. That there's a lot of people who are not going to go back into that cage. And there's nothing they're going to be able to do to try and put them back into that cage.
Well, everything that's happening right now, it's making the cage super uncomfortable. And you can't unknow that once you see it.
Megan,
Tell Triton, just tell Triton he can have a nurse now. It's okay.
Megan, can I ask you quickly? I'm going to seem very, very dense. Can you explain what are the key characteristics for the age of Aquarius? I know. I mean, all I can remember is the goddamn song. This is the dawning of the age.
Yeah, exactly. We all know the song.
We all know the song.
We all know the song. I don't know if Megan's got the baby right now, so I don't know if she's going to be able to come out. Maybe we can talk about this, and maybe that'll be the next show, Megan. Maybe we'll have to be the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Sorry, Megan, I heard you for a second. No, baby's crying, guys. Sorry. Baby takes precedence over all you guys. Sorry. That's the way it is.
We are like the munchkins in Wizard of Oz. Like the house that has been dropped on the Wicked Witch. Now Glinda's asking us to, come out of hiding.
Danny, I was going to say, so many of us have been preparing for many, 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 many years. Well, since the day we were born, for what is happening now. But we've become just a tad bit jaded because we never thought it was going to happen in our lifetimes. We're spiritually tired as all hell, and we're like, fuck it, we're done, we're out of here. As soon as the next, the bus, if a bus comes up, I'm stepping out in front of it because I'm out of here. I'm sick of this shit. Sick of the muggle masses, and all of a sudden it's here, and now we have no choice but to deal with the shit, So it's
The
going to take a
Muggle
while.
masses. I
The Muggle
fucking love
masses.
you. That was awesome.
Thank
I am
you. But
stealing that.
What did he say? What?
The Muggle masses. Fucking awesome. I'm stealing that. I'm not going to talk about the normies. I'm not going to talk about the general public. I'm going to talk about the Muggle fucking masses.
well, the Muggle masses, they don't recognize the magic within themselves, so they're not going to see it reflected back to them from the outside world, right? But it does exist. But they're so ingrained into everything, and even when you bring up things like the art of war, what can be going down at the same time, all this other shit we're talking about is happening over on this end, it's also going down too. There's a lot happening on the other side as well. So there is this battle of good versus evil that is happening on the planet right now, and we're seeing it. We're finally seeing it, and all we can do is just tap into those reserves, folks, for those of us that have been preparing for this for years, that have been become jaded. We really don't have any choice aside from, well, we can take ourselves out, but that wouldn't be very cool. But we don't have any choice aside from standing and accepting our role for what we prepared for our entire lives.
Yep. And here's the thing, and I was going to thank you, because you just segued beautifully into this, Roger. Regardless of what rules out right now, pardon me, coronavirus, regardless of what rolls out right now, regardless of whether it's a new financial system, regardless of whether it is Agenda 21, one world government, regardless of what it is, we have a choice. Can you change it? No. Like, I'm sorry to say, but the reality of it is, can we change a new financial system rolling out that's going to be just fucked? No, it's going to roll out regardless of what our personal opinion is on it. So getting angry over it, getting furiously angry and banging your head against that wall isn't going to change it. As it has been, we cannot necessarily change the whole fucking structure around us, but what we focus on in our own lives, in our own reality, we can have radical changes that we can affect. We can meet the people. We can bring people together. We can start working within our communities. We can start generating change within all of these things. Regardless of what is rolling out, we have a choice in how we move forward with it. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's fucking, pick a fucking narrative, because God knows there's 85,000 to pick from right now of who's doing what to whom and why and when and how. Pick a narrative. Regardless, we don't know the answer. At this point, we don't know the answer. We don't. So you can sit here and you can worry yourself fucking to the point of a nervous breakdown. Or you can take your time, put it into something that makes you happy, something that makes you feel good. You can move forward and learn something new, do something new, and put your energy into something that is going to genuinely change your personal reality.
It's a reclamation of power, is what it is.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's hard because, look, I'm the prime one. You guys all know what I fucking do. I fucking analyze everything. I pull up all the political shit. I analyze it all. I break it all down. I research all the fucking papers, et cetera, et cetera. That's who I am. I can't help myself. But I make a choice. And I do make choices. That's why I walked away from a lot of it from Transconspicuous News about a year ago. Because it was like, what's playing out politically, I can't change. And I don't know what the actual narrative is. I can think that I know. I can hypothesize a few things, but I don't know. And I was putting so much energy into that it was pulling me down. down, like weights on my shoulder. And then you sit there and you say, you know what? No, I'm going to go back to reading books that I enjoy. Not because I'm researching fucking Basel for fucking banking practices. No. I'm going to read the book that I want to read and enjoy.
Annie, you started living.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. You guys, we can start at ground zero, day zero, and just start living again and let them go ahead and build whatever they want to all around us. Let them do whatever they want all around us, because as long as we are living and not worrying about, oh my God, yeah, those 85,000 different things.
Yep.
Let's start living and getting back to that community.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's the choices that we make. So is this a reset? Yes, I think this is a reset. On what level that reset is?
Thanks for helping me out just there. I had a patient texting me about all the madness and what they're going to do. And just as you were saying what you were just saying, I just texted back exactly what you were saying. So I just said, hugs back. I'm using all the madness to get things done. It's all perception. Is this a bad thing or a good thing? I can sit and worry or use the time to move forward. So thanks for that.
There you go. You're very welcome, my love. If I can help one person, awesome. With me and my ramblings. We're basically at a time, folks. It's basically time's up for this. What I would suggest is, and I am not going to tell people what to do by any means, but I know we have a bunch of pro accounts out there, pro Zoom accounts. And I think these moments are really important for everyone right now. So if people want to get together on in the UnFuckers group on Facebook or on Zoom, figure out, that maybe someone could do a chat over here or someone over here, and let's do these more often. I'm not going to be able to attend every one of them because I got a shit ton of my own stuff that I'm trying to do, but I will try and get involved when I can. But I think these conversations are vital. They're really important that we have this communication where we can look and talk and we can help each other out. Okay? I think it's important. Do not allow yourself to be isolated. Do not allow yourself to be isolated. If they want to isolate you, fuck them. Disisolate yourself. Is that a word?
Excuse me for breaking in here. Excuse me for breaking in here for a second. But you said, mentioned the isolation part, and we were talking about the whole coronavirus thing. Well, just come to find out, some guys that are working in this building. Well, see, one of them's just working in here temporarily. It's part of a crew, and the other guy is the guy that lives here. I know him from doing security at this Kroger. Anyway, but he's quitting that job. Like I told him, I said, we were talking, and I told him, I said, yeah, no, what you mean? Like, we were talking, and he's like, I said, I couldn't do security because I have to have something that stimulates my brain. I can't just stand there and focus on whether or not somebody's going to steal something or not.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's what he basically told me. He said, yeah, I have to have something where I can stimulate myself, because he's a really young guy. This guy's really young. He's only like in his early 20s, I think.
Yeah.
And so a couple of us were talking, and the guy that's part of the working crew had brought up, his name is Victor. Because of my hearing, I had to do this part of the time and all this noise in here, but he brought up the coronavirus thing and how someone had informed him, someone he knew that was created by the CIA. So yeah, I happen to.
Could be. Totally could be, right?
No,
but it doesn't matter. This is what I keep going back to.
I'm just saying what you were saying. Don't isolate yourself, because there could be people around you. Like I just came upon, we ended up talking about this stuff. So I'm saying, if you isolate yourself too much,
exactly.
Don't do it too much, because it's like we're finding out we can overdo it.
Yeah.
Hey, Star, we can thank the CIA for something. for once. Yay! Thank you, CIA.
Criminals in action.
Yeah, but hey, we're getting
Yeah.
the community.
Criminals in action. Criminals in
Hold
action.
on. Someone else is trying to say something. Who is Fred? Is
It's
that
Fred.
you?
Yeah, it's Fred. It's just 1 second of logistics. I need Bess. Maybe you could do it. I have no time to be on Discord these days because things are really crazy here. I do need someone who's a real Discord user to kind of keep an eye there, help people get into the voice rooms. Jonah asked about the voice rooms. Yes, they do work. Anytime you have people in Discord, except the ones that have the little lock next to the room name, all the voice rooms work. Just grab anybody you want, just click under there, you go. And I need somebody to put the Zoom, when there's a Zoom thing going on, I need someone to put the link in Discord because I can't be counted on, and I really want to make sure it goes there.
And that's what I said when I opened up the thing. I was like, someone has got to
Jane,
put
you're
it in
still
Discord.
there?
Discord.
Yeah.
I can't.
Jane, are you still using Discord, love? Are you still on it?
Yeah, I still have an account. I uninstalled it, but I can put it back on. No big deal.
Could you grab when the Zoom link is posted in the Zoom thread, in that chat thread, and throw it in Discord?
Yeah, I've been thinking about using Discord again anyway.
That would be great. I will too. I'll get back on Discord once I'm calmed down and I'm done with the evac stuff. I'll get back on Discord for sure.
Steph has volunteered too.
Steph? Okay,
Yeah.
Steph is on there. Good.
Oh, okay, yeah, Steph.
Anyone.
Yeah, she's on Discord. Exactly, Steph. That's
Anyone
right.
who's
You're there.
on.
Yeah,
anyone who's on
Steph
Discord,
also. Yes,
please
love.
take
You
the
are.
initiative to repost the link whenever you see a link.
Because I used to post it
cannot
there,
put Discord on my computer.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
what
have
about-
it, but I'm sorry, Roger. By the way, Roger, it's great to hear you.
Yeah,
I
you
miss that
too.
voice.
You too,
I
Fred.
fucking miss that voice of yours.
You too, Fred. I love you. All right. So, as far as Zoom goes, we have to record them so we can get them out there for posterity's sake, in my humble opinion as well, and get them up
If
on
people
the.
are comfortable with that.
If we're, of course, if they're comfortable.
I mean, everyone knows
right.
if you're here, I'm fucking recording, so.
Oh yeah, right. Now, Discord. Is there any way to record in Discord as well?
There is, but you have to do it through a secondary. I think you got to use like an OBS or something like that to record.
Oh,
Yeah, just use a.
Roger, do you still have any of your studio stuff up, or you everything gets dismantled?
No, I got all my stuff. I'm just waiting on a new mic and everything. A friend of mine is investing in us doing a podcast together, and they are investing in hardware. I'm just waiting on my new mic, but I do have an old condenser mic, but I've got my stuff set up here, ready to go. So
Can I butt in here a minute?
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, Leonida.
I have Discord. I have an Elgato capture card. I have 4 terabytes of memory that I can store videos on. I'm just not good at like editing things like that. I can post it on. I can run this on Twitch. I have a Twitch account. Okay, and I'm a Zoom Pro member. So.
Oh, Roger. Do you know how to live stream on YouTube?
I know how to live stream on YouTube.
Leonida, we gotta fucking
I know how to live stream on Twitch. I know how to live stream on Mixer. I have accounts on all that stuff. I'm a gamer.
Anyone who saw today who's a subscriber for YouTube, I went on to try and test to get the live stream, and I could get my voice to come through the live stream. No problem, crystal clear. The video would not fucking come up. I did it, I don't know, 5-6 times. And I think at the end, I think there were people just sitting there waiting to see me pop back in again. It was like 15, 20 people sitting there going, "We can hear you still, but we still can't see you." I'm like, oh, fuck.
Guys,
Hey, I
if you
wanted
do,
to say.
one
on.
second.
Bossy, you wait, Bossy. No, Bossy, you got your lots of time to talk. Dawn hasn't said anything yet, so you're gonna have to go after Dawn.
Aw. I was just going to say that when your friend was talking about using that word, the muggles, and about, light versus dark, Maurice has been saying that for weeks, but he's been saying it's the muggles versus the wizards. And I love that phrase. So I think that's very appropriate.
Yep. I'm fucking incorporating that into my daily life now, officially incorporating
The
that. into my
Muggles
daily
versus the Wizard.
The Muggle masses.
The Muggle masses.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay,
Guys,
Leonida,
if you
I will try and drop you a message after this. Maybe we can arrange some time this week if you're free that you can help walk me through it. I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I know it's probably one fucking button that I'm not pressing. Do you know what I mean? Go ahead, Bossy. Sorry.
if you since we are in damage mode, if you make videos, try and make them as small as possible. Don't make HD pictures and shit like that, right? Like if you have like an infograph or an important picture you want to share, make this high def that people can see it even in low resolutions, but keep it as tight as possible, because we are going into the times soon where we're gonna trade shit on dead drops of on USB sticks somewhere stored. You leave your shit, you change your shit, you leave other stuff, you know what I mean? Like keep it as tight as possible, because storage space, the more you keep it tight, the more you can save.
Yep. No, I agree. And that's I mean, so I always record in 720, right? I don't go to the 80 and all the rest of it, because why? It's just us talking. No one needs to see the pores and the wrinkles on my forehead. Really, you don't. See, look, I have them. Do you know what I'm saying? And same thing with pictures. As I've learned the same thing on my website. Some of the mistakes I've made is that I design graphics, and of course I design them this big. And then I go up and upload, and they're going, that's 32 megabytes. We're not going to let you upload that one. And you're like, well, fuck. And, you know, you've got to start vectoring everything down. Same thing, I crush them. I put all my, when I put up upload videos, I crush them through a handbrake to try and make them as small as possible.
Yeah, make them MP4 format and MP3 audio. That's the lowest you can go, as far as I know.
With the codec, with the H.264 codec.
Yep. I don't know. I just press buttons. That's all I know. I'm like a trained monkey. I know which buttons to press, and that crunches the video, and then I upload it.
At a bit rate of maybe 10 to 20, if you really want it small.
No, I try to stick to 30. I try to stick to at least 30 bit rate. Come on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do like 200, so for myself.
Maybe a little bit excessive. Here's a thought. Okay, so here's the problem. Going to UnFuckers Unite. So I've migrated all the websites over to a new host account. UnFuckers is not quite migrated. You will notice, all of you guys, that the membership has been removed from UnFuckers Unite and is now open. Because when I started the migration process, the membership plugin fucking just broke, and I had to call up my new host server people, and they were awesome. They were fantastic, and they walked me through, and they went into the back office and pulled all the plugins off so that I could get back in and one at a time reinstall them, and so I know it's the membership plugin. So that has to be fixed. In the meantime, the library, I've removed the page off the menu. So you're not going to be able to access the video library, the book library, etc., unless you have the direct link. So if you want the direct link, message me on Messenger or by email. I've already put it in the UnFuckers group on Facebook. I think I put it in the UnFuckers group on Zoom. I'm pretty sure I did. That's until I can fix it.
That tells you right there that
someone else can hack it.
Yeah, we need to get you back to the membership only.
Yeah. I've got to rebuild the whole site. I have to rebuild the whole site once I have time. And that's it. It's been all the money that was donated, I still haven't got. So Lee just asked for an update GoFundMe. I'm still fighting with GoFundMe. They won't give me my money. It was all donated by all of you guys. It's $2,400. A little over $2,400 was donated. I can't access this. That's something that's doable. But because of this whole coronavirus shit, basically, I have no money. I got no money because I had to put everything into groceries and making sure I had stuff for the family. And like I said, we were hoping the money that was coming to the GoFundMe was going to have to be used to replace the car because the car's dead. And yeah, it's that kind of fun. It's that kind of like, oh, the fuck. So yeah, I hear you all when we're all talking about these subjects. Oh, trust me.
Where are you at in the UK, Danny?
I'm in West Midlands.
Okay.
So I'm just outside of Birmingham.
Okay. I was in Castleton up in the North Yorkshire Moors when I was there. It's beautiful. Go
It's
check
gorgeous up
it
in
out.
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Fucking, I love Yorkshire. Yorkshire is gorgeous. I have family up that way. We're already bugging me to come visit. But yeah, I got friends up in Manchester and Liverpool and Bolton and up in Yorkshire, and I got friends down south. And yeah, at one point we're gonna have to get like a caravan and do like a little tour all the way around England, go visit everyone.
That'd be awesome.
It'll be the Unfuckers English tour.
And you have to do it all with accents.
Yeah, no, I can't do all those accents. No.
For how small the UK is, for how small they are, I tripped out at all the different accents that they have. You know, for Scouse and all that. You know, I was at Wales. I was freaking the hell out, and I'm like, how can that even happen? Then you got Scotland. It was like 300 miles to the north of where we were in Castleton, and they speak a completely different dialect. And I'm like, how the hell does that happen?
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's like the difference between the London accent to the Brummie accent to the Bristol accent to the Yorkshire accent to it's Liverpool is like that's just one city, and it's got its own accent just all by itself.
Oh yeah, and the Welsh have their own language. Like they call microwaves pop pings, and they call it like they'll say like, whose coat is that jacket, kind of thing. You know.
Yep. I had a really good friend of mine who was Welsh, and we sit and we chat and all the rest of it. And her brother came to visit her in Malta, and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna meet my brother tonight." She was like, "Be prepared. You won't understand a word we're saying because I guarantee we're gonna be drinking." And I was like, "Oh yeah, come on. I know your accent. I get it." And she was like, "Yeah, no." And like her brother showed up, and I was sat there listening to the two of them, going, "Are you even speaking English?" And they're like, "Of course we're speaking English." I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you're not speaking Welsh?" They're like, "No, because Welsh." And then they talked in Welsh, and it was like, completely different. But yeah, like when they were drinking, her and her brother for that 2 weeks, if they started drinking and started talking, 1 out of 10 words could I understand. Literally 1 out of 10 words. Crazy.
The Scott dialect is just the same, but they don't have to be drunk for you not to understand what the hell's going on.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, also the other thing I want to say, I have got last batch of Black Seed C60 spinning right now. I've already ordered some more C60 to come in. That is going to be available. I have 1 bottle of the Black Seed C60 available, and I have a couple bottles of the hemp and quite a few bottles of the Argon C60 available. So, and I have plain black seed oil available because I've had a lot of people just messaging me going, "Your shop is still closed. I need the Black Seed C60." And I'm telling you, honestly, Nick and I both started getting sick. And we're laughing, going, "Oh, Mike, we can't go out in public. If we go out in public sounding like this, they're going to like arrest us and put us in full-on quarantine, right?" And I took about 5 doses of this yesterday. I started the night before. I took 3 before bed. I took about 5 doses yesterday, and I've taken 2 this morning, and cold's fucking gone. Just fucking gone. So that's my baby, my black seed oil. Gotta have the black seed oil. It fucking works. It does fucking work. So I'm going to say goodnight to you guys all. So anyways, what I was saying was the Guy's Garden Shop is still officially closed because we haven't had a chance with all this shit going on with coronavirus. Haven't even been able to go in and get the business set up yet. But if anyone needs any, like I have my regulars, just email me or messenger me what you need and I can send it out to you. No worries. Okay, that's it for us, guys. Thank you all. I love you all so much. I love you so much. And you all got to come visit me in England this summer. You know, when they open borders again and you guys are allowed to leave your respective prisons. Yeah, fun. Okay, good night, guys.
One small step